If I'm looking too crusty for you, just know that we are on medication, guys. There's a cause that I am taking. And some of the times I feel like I am in some planet. I'm all by myself. I see stars, I see galaxy, and I think I may have seen the Milky Way too. And my goodness, Saturn looks huge and cold. I think I was being delusional, I suppose. I don't know. So my body is a little bit sore because I'm laying in bed practically almost the entire of my life. That's how it feels like. But if this is what we have to do to get better, then that's all that we're gonna have to do. I just remembered something. I'm gonna get to what the video is about. I just remembered something that when I studied the aging process, I did share it with you guys that I feel every process of aging, like physically, I'm sure some of y'all, if you go back to my old videos, you will see that the shape of my mouth and how I speak is different because my jaw or jawline decided to shape in a certain way. And I see also my gaps between my teeth are getting a little bit smaller by the day. I don't know if maybe they'll eventually close or they'll start falling off. I don't know. So I'm feeling every process of aging. And that also includes when my immune system says, I'm taking a break for now, but I'm going to throw you with some few little illnesses here and there. But hey, it's not going to be a train smash. I'm not taking you to your early grave just yet, but shaking up the body a little bit and teaching you how it's like to be sick. Because I hardly ever get sick, y'all. So the only person that always knew what to do was my mom. Now my mom hasn't been around since 2014, and whenever I do fall ill, I have to learn how to heal myself, survive it, and I know all I have to do is keep my head above the water and breathe. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I don't know if I'm doing a good job, but hey, I'm a crybaby. I'm just a crybaby. But anyways, let's get to today's video. Guys, I see. I did not want to speak about Dr. Ndlozi, but ooh, y'all, no, you guys are not leaving me alone. I don't want to talk about him. I think he is a lost cause. If you had to ask me to, in one word or two words, he is a lost cause. And my fear is he is going to successfully recruit gullible people that think when you speak big English, you are saying something absolutely amazing. And you do not look at the damage that whatever is coming out of his mouth potentially could throw South African program off. Because there's no way that you are an intellectual, especially somebody that holds a PhD, you do not build a foundation first in your own country. You build a foundation first, meaning that your people must always reign supreme in your mind before you go outside and say, okay, now this foundation has been built. Can it be a role model for other African countries to follow? Because there's no way that the SADC region will be successful if everybody's coming down to South Africa in a name of some ideology that came up with some American dude. It's not going to work. And especially when you also want to bring in people outside of the region because it's a cool thing to do. We are being manipulated about Zambia. Zambia holds apparently 5 nationalities, but they never once committed any sort of xenophobia. And I'm seeing people paying attention, and I'm thinking to myself, I hope they are resisting what they are being told. And I just learned today from somebody that he actually launched an organization. I don't know what it's called, not interested. And he allegedly he is focusing more on the ones that were left behind, like your black township people that did finish high school and things of that nature. But when you are reading whatever manifesto that is, it's bombastic words. There are people who can't even spell liar. They spell it as Lier. And then you come with bombastic words, and then they are your target market. It goes to show that this is nothing but somebody that is trying to be known to be the brain of South Africa. We know that many people looked up to Thabo Mbeki at some point before he started getting senile. I think how he is speaking right now, Thabo Mbeki, it's because of age. And because he's aging and he's holding on to that thread of intellectualism that he has, hence he says things that are upsetting South Africans, where he completely resigned from South Africans and he has embraced this ideology that is destructive to the people of South Africa. And by the way, those of you that are convinced by Dr. Ndlozi, let's respect him. He has an exit plan when all these things that he's busy preaching falls apart, which damages South Africa and renders South Africa yet another African failed state. He knows where to go to, where he's going to be accepted. Where are you going to go to? Who are you going to be angry at? Because one thing about Africans as a whole, South Africa, yes, we do hold ourselves accountable to a certain extent. That is why many South Africans right now refuse to accept that they are the reason why we are here today, by turning the tables on those that may understand how did we get here. That is not that is not you holding yourself accountable. Yet you were warned before, but because it felt good at the time not to listen, like, for example, the likes of Musiwa Lekota, you can go back to everything that he has said and the rejections that he gotten.
That's why when we send money to Limpopo, budget, we pass it here, but the children have no school books today because there's nobody to take the books to the children. Let me tell you something interesting. In this country, there's plenty capability to implement things. And if you stop for a moment, think about it. In this country, there are thousands of taverns. Every one of them, every week, is supplied with the necessary alcohol, beers, and all of that. They never run out of stock. But when it comes to delivering books to school children, once a year, no capability. It's not because the country does not have capability. Deliver books to the children of our country once a year, nothing. Whereas there's plenty capability in the country to deliver beer every week, make sure that every tavern is not running short of it.
Lekota understood the assignment, but the rest of them in parliament ignored him.
Citizens of this country have got documents. If they leave this country, we give them the passports. They can identify themselves. When they get there, they can say why they are there. But our government cannot allow for people to come from anywhere and everywhere and come into this country without documentation, without indicating why they are here, without indicating where they are going to live, without saying how much money they have to spend for that period. We cannot do that because we are not also allowed to do that in other countries. If our country is not going to look after this country and manage entrance at the borders and so on, we will be in difficulties.
And I know there's some people going to come in the comment section with their emotions without using this and saying, yeah, by the way, he did. You rejected him and you even took him out of parliament as a whole. Listen, at the end of the day, it's your prerogative. It's your choice what you do. But look what choices do at times when you are blinded by people that purport to care for you. Now we have Ndlozi. He's coming with an agenda. And this agenda is not pro-South Africans. Especially when it is not pro-South Africans, guess who is going to be hurt the most? You named it. Black people. Especially the new generation, the Gen Alphas, the Gen Zs, millennials that are growing a little bit older now. Those are the people that are going to be affected. These are the people that are supposed to be taking over the country. And when they are diluted the way Ndlozi is trying to do so, then we have a failed state that is facing us. I want you to listen to him when he speaks. Who does he remind you of? Have you listened to his tone? His tone is militant, but he also doesn't want to be too aggressive because he's educated. He's Dr. Ndlozi. I mean, if you go back to the establishment of economic freedom fighters, the leader was very, very militant. He was a populist. He said words that hit the heart of those that actually were left behind. Those were the youth. That youth has grown up. They are grown-up men and women now. And they are seeing EFF for what it really is. And who is now reviving this? To the new generation, the Gen Alphas, who are now, 14, 15? In 2-3 years, they are going to be eligible to vote. So he needs to groom them now. He needs to groom them now, just like how Julius Malema did it with the millennials when in 2012 he started EFF. Militant from the ANC Youth League. He punched the air. Everybody just thought, whoa. And everything that he was saying also crossed the oceans. And everybody thought, yeah, this is the new generation leader that everybody should follow and listen to. That's Ndlozi right now. He's manipulating your children. But before he manipulates your children, he first needs to manipulate you as the parents of the Gen Alphas. They are going to say, hey, Mtanam, I would love for you to be like Dr. Ndlozi. There will be those that will say, okay, let me start focusing or paying attention to Dr. Ndlozi. And then they see themselves as Dr. Ndlozi. They are gone. They are the building blocks of destroying South Africa and selling it off to nations on the continent that are eyeing South Africa for whatever agendas that they have. I heard him when he was pretending to say we need to call out Nigeria and Ghana. But when he said that the tone was soft. He did not call them out. He did not rebuke or reprimand them. Who is supposed to do that? He says he's not a think tank. I'm telling you right now, that is what he wants to be known as, a think tank of South Africa, taking over from Thabo Mbeki. I think Thabo Mbeki is mentoring him. But Thabo Mbeki, unfortunately, has been rejected by a whole lot of South Africans, if not the majority of Black South Africa. So meaning, chances are what Ndlozi is trying to build might not actually make it. He's already saying all the wrong tunes. Here's the thing that I was telling some people when we have conversations, especially people that I meet at the mall, they will ask me, "Hey, Clantis, what do you think of this?" One of the subscribers asked me, "So, in order for you not to get into trouble as a politician or as an NGO or whatever the case might be, what are the things that one must be careful of?" I said, three things that you should never do right now. Read the room. Anybody that stands against South Africans, and when I say South Africans, I'm talking about March and March here. If you are going to speak ill of March and March and try to psychoanalyze Uchasinta Ngobese Zuma, you will get yourself in trouble with South Africans. As a matter of fact, South Africans at this point, they will just scroll up. They say rubbish, or they will take you head on. Two, never, and I mean never, South Africans understand that this is the only country they have. This is the only home they have. There's nowhere else that they would like to go to. And when you are going to jeopardize that home, and then by calling them xenophobic or Afrophobic, you are in trouble. And South Africans are not forgiving, especially when you have accused them of Afrophobia. There's a content creator that was dealt with. Let me put it that way. It's one of those people that I respected as well, and I watched thoroughly because I will get updated, and the analogies that she used to do, they made perfect sense. And so she did a video and called South Africans not Afrophobic. She did say things, to balance her piece, but she said it twice that South Africans are Afrophobic. There's no any other way of explaining this. And her message collapsed because she called South Africans Afrophobic. Of course, she got backlashed, and she came back and she doubled down and says, "I'm not going to take that video down, and I still stand 10 toes under about what she said, that South Africans are Afrophobic." And that sealed her fate with South Africans. And of course, she still will have followers. Once again, those followers are your people that believe that they are intellectuals themselves, and we know South African Black intellectuals, they hate poor people. Let's not run and beat about the bushes about that. They hate poor people. They don't speak for poor people in this country. If they do want to speak about poor people, they take a position of saying, but why don't they get themselves out of poverty? It's not difficult. Once again, speaking from a point of privilege, or even ivory tower syndrome. So she made another video just recently, and she said she doesn't understand what she did wrong. And I'm thinking, girl, you call South Africans Afrophobic not once, not twice, but 3 times. So there's no coming back with this one. I don't know how you're going to fix it, but just don't do it. And the third thing that you must never do to South Africans is to try and convince them about Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is not going to happen in South Africa. And in order for Pan-Africanism to work, everybody needs to have their hands on deck in their own respective countries. In order for Pan-Africanism to work, the psychology of Africa is so diverse. There are countries that don't believe in democracy. There are countries that are religious. There are countries that don't see themselves as Africans. There are countries that think they are better than the other Africans because they got soft hair that they can run their fingers without having to use a comb. And they feel that they are better than those of us with nappy hair. So all these things you're just going to ignore and then say Pan-Africanism. You are starting something that is, it's almost like a building on top of dynamites. Because all of these things at some point will explode in our faces. And what will happen to Africa and those that seize an opportunity to come pillage even more while we are busy on each other's throats? So Africa was just going to be a disaster, a complete disaster. And here's another thing that proves this point, that Ndlozi is blowing in the wind with whatever it is that he has an agenda on. Right now, this is my passport, or South African passport, we also call it the Green Mamba, is under threat. Nigerians, yeah, so-called brothers, they are cooking up this document and they are spreading it across the planet, selling it. Sooner or later, the Green Mamba is not going to be trusted by any country. And I remember when the Green Mamba was introduced to us, we were told that it has a technology that makes it incorruptible. You and I were told that. So now how come Nigerians are cooking it in thousands and selling it across the planet? And they commit crimes with this. And then you come and you talk about borderless Africa. You do not want to acknowledge that there are Africans that truly hates us. Truly hates us. They want to see South Africa destroyed. And then when are you just going to do what? Ignore that and try and drum down our throat an ideology that does not protect the Green Mamba. And you are a South African. You are a South African. Let's forget the fact that you are not putting your people first. You are saying, poor black South Africans, can you just stop whining? We need to take care of the poor black from other African countries, prioritize them. And then you rich South Africans pour money so that we take care of the poor on the African continent and bring them to South Africa. For what good reason? The big words are being used. The last time lumpen, what we were called basically thieves, criminals. That's what Ndlozi called us under Marxism theories. And because we did not understand what lumpen, we kind of like let it slide. And he's using more bombastic Marxist words against the people, his own people. And then he wants to decampaign March and March. Not only March and March that he is decampaigning, he also decampaigning any other organizations that speak about South Africans being put first. Do you see the danger that we are facing, fellow South Africans? And if we are gullible, well, don't ask, how did we get here? You did. By not rejecting Dr. Ndlozi and whatever it is that is trying to drum down our throats. As a matter of fact, is shoving it down our throats. We've got a lot that we need to work on as South Africans. And we are being hindered in working on these things because there are people that cross our porous borders because they saw us as the land of milk and honey. The same milk and honey that we ourselves are trying to find. And then there are South Africans that want us destroyed. You destroy this, a country is gone. Ask Nigerians. I do not, when I get to an airport in Europe or in America or Canada or down under or here on the African continent, I'm pulled aside while everybody goes through customs. But because I'm carrying this, I have to prove it that I am actually a South African. And if I do prove that I'm a South African, they still have to make a decision whether to let me in or deport me. But that's what Ndlozi wants. And he is also shooting himself in the foot because he too is not exempt as long as he carries this wherever he goes. And he calls them brothers, the people that are destroying the green mamba. Just 2 years ago, this was one of them. In fact, at one point, this passport was the #1 most powerful passport on the continent. Right now, #1 is held by, I think, Mauritius or Seychelles. #2, it is Seychelles or Mauritius, I'm not quite sure. And then comes us. So that means we are dropping. We are dropping. 2 years ago, we could enter 106 countries visa-free. Ask me how many in 2026 we can enter visa-free. 100. 106. Like no more. This green mamba entering visa-free. And who is destroying it? Is it South Africans? We do travel, but we travel for leisure. And then we come back. We commit no crimes where we go to. But the so-called brothers from Nigeria, Ghana, and everywhere else in Zimbabwe, once they obtain this, yeah, they call it the key to the globe. That's what they call it. And they commit crimes in our name. They commit crimes in our name. But Ndlozi, he doesn't say all that, and he's not going to tell you about all of that. He's not going to condemn it. He's not going to call them out, but he will call you out for fighting for your sovereignty, for fighting for your country, fighting for the future of this country. Why? Because he speaks so well. He has a PhD. What do we know? We don't have that. Don't ever ask, how did we get here? If you ever supported whatever comes out of Ndlozi's mouth. I once upon a time respected him, but I don't know. This PhD thing, it makes some of these people sound very concerning. Extremely concerning. And I think the danger here is South Africans may never again trust intellectuals, and that's dangerous. We need intellectuals. We need people that are going to guide us. That's the whole point of going all the way to the highest qualification, is to give guidance. But what Ndlozi is doing is misleading. He is misleading and he's being militant about it so that you get worked up. He learned that from EFF, that in order to get the message drummed in, you need to be militant. I don't know, fellow South Africans. That's up to you, though. At the end of the day, it's your choice. It's your choice. Do you want South Africa destroyed? Do you want your children to ever have a future? If you don't, then yeah, listen to him. And I looked in that lecture hall where he was speaking, and I'm looking around those people. I'm thinking, I hope you are being skeptical. I hope you are so smart that you are saying what in your head, this is bull ass that is coming from Ndlozi's mouth. I hope. But looks like people were paying attention. I don't know, maybe they got carried away. Who knows? Don't be those people. Just don't be those people. Pan-Africanism will never succeed as long as Somalis call this skin color and this head texture Jarirs and say they're Arabs, not Africans. Northern Africa, which is on the continent, considering themselves, in fact, identifying as Middle Eastern, not Africans. The other African countries that are 100% religious, convince them of Pan-Africanism until I see them going into North Africa and preaching this and it's accepted. That's when I will know we're making inroads. Why aren't they going to them? Why are they not going to them? Because they know all of this is BS. The only gullible people, but the most gullible ones are South Africans. Because tell me why people have a problem with black, poor people just because they hold a degree. Just a degree, and they work in corporate South Africa, especially those that work in Sandton. Not all of y'all, but y'all have a problem. Anyways, I will leave this video right here, but I want to remind you, this is in danger. It's in danger. But people that we are being asked to call brothers and sisters. This. I don't know if you saw in South Korea. Yeah, them Nigerians. They are trying to force South Korean government to grant them asylum status. So they visit South Korea, and the moment their visitor's visa almost expires, they go to the government and say, I'm seeking asylum. But South Korea, it's learning from other countries, and it's like, no. No. They managed to penetrate Japan. They managed to penetrate Vietnam. They managed to penetrate China. And now they thought, South Korea. They now want to destroy South Korea. South Korea is standing on business and they are saying, hell to the no. So they are marching. They are now illegal in South Korea because they overstayed and demanding asylum. What war is going on in Nigeria? It's a question that we've been asking on this channel for a very long time, that this government of ours doesn't even want to answer. And then when they hop off those planes that we provided them, if you ever wondered what happened to that 600 million rand, it repatriated the Nigerians, Ethiopians, Zimbabweans, Malawans. That's what it did. And it's funny how the countries like your Nigeria and them, they take the credit and saying it's them that repatriated their own people when it's South Africa that has. That's where the 600 million rand went to. Now we are asking for the invoice. Do you think they are going to pay back? No, they're not. They don't respect us. But Ndlozi is not going to tell you that. He's going to say we are all Africans. And don't get me started about him talking about the Zulu kingdom perished. It's a past. It doesn't exist. That's what I saw, which the law. I think, sometimes one of the things that we learned in high school about education was be educated, be informed. But you must also understand the brain has a breaking point too. And I think I did make an example of our school psychologist taking an elastic, like an elastic band, So she took it and she would stretch it. She's like, this is your brain. You need to stretch it to a point where you feel, I think I've stretched my brain enough. Because if you pull one more time or put a little bit more pressure, it's going to snap. Your brain, when you push it too far, it also snap. That is why you would find people in some communities in South Africa, they say, you see that guy there? He is so well educated, but look at him. Cuckoo. Why? Because he overstretched his brain. I think that's where some people, they're at that point where the elastic cannot be stretched any longer. I don't want to make any predictions, and then tomorrow I'm just letting you know that there's a breaking point for the brain, and you start talking crazy stuff and coming up with visions that are not going to work in our favor. And I'm not talking about Ndlozi here, by the way. I'm just talking in general, that if you are over going to stretch your brain with education, it's going to snap your brain. And you're going to start talking crazy. Absolutely crazy. And now people will be pointing fingers. Oh, yambona lo muntu lo, hey, kwakusibani, hey. But look at him, Oshama Pep. We've seen them a lot. So, I don't know. Tomorrow you must not look embarrassed like, oh my goodness, I used to follow this person. No, right now. Or at least keep them at arm's length and say, okay, I hear you, but still keep them there. So in case things snap, you don't feel embarrassed, because we will have second-hand embarrassment on your behalf. Anyways, I will leave this video here. I didn't want to talk about this at all, but I had to answer give my opinion on this issue that we are facing. It's interesting. And by the way, we'll never get the money that we repatriated those Nigerians. Not Ghanaians. Ghanaians, they paid it themselves. And other African countries, we're not going to get that money back. We're not going to get it. These people don't respect us. And yet, we must accept them as brothers and sisters, according to Ndlozi. I'm talking about colonialism and apartheid. Yo, Nkosiyam, we are tired. We are tired. Boundaries were always there. Iskotisagwa Tumakude, it's a boundary. Iskotisagwa Tumakude. What are you talking about? You travel walking or Shaka Zulu back in the day. They knew today the moment they reach this Ngele, it's Lesotho on the other side. Hey, just stop being made a fool of just because people speak smoothly. Stop. Calculate every step you take and everything you listen to. Analyze it before you take a decision. Goodbye, fellow South Africans. Much love from me.